Welcome to Small Stories, Big Healing, where old teachings speak softly into modern lives.
Have you ever promised yourself, just one more day I will start, only to find your mind drifting again, pulled by noise, craving, worry, and old habits? When you cannot stay consistent, when you cannot focus, when you cannot stop the same thoughts from returning, what do you do then? Once upon a time, in a small town where morning fog rested gently on the rooftops, there lived a young woman named Mira. Mira was bright, kind, and full of dreams, but her mind was like a basket with loose weaving. Every intention slipped through. She would begin her day with hope, then lose herself in distractions. She would plan to practice her craft, then suddenly the sun would be setting, and her hands would be empty, her heart heavy. Mira worked at a little workshop that made simple instruments from bamboo. Flutes, cups, small wind chimes that sang softly when the breeze passed through. Bamboo was everywhere in that town, tall, green, and quiet. It seemed to know something the people had forgotten. One morning, Mira stood in the workshop and stared at a half-carved bamboo flute. Her tools lay beside her, untouched. She whispered to herself, "I do not understand. I want to do better. I want to be disciplined, but my mind will not obey me." As if in answer, the workshop door creaked open. An older man stepped inside, a traveling craftsman named Elder Sato. His hair was silver, his eyes calm, and his presence felt like the shade of a tree on a hot day. He looked at Mira's hands, then at the unfinished flute. "You are not lacking talent," he said softly. "You are lacking a trained mind." Mira lowered her gaze. "I try, Elder. I truly try. But my thoughts run away. My cravings speak louder than my plans. My worries make me tired before I even begin." Elder Sato nodded as though he had heard this many times. "Come with me," he said. Mira followed him behind the workshop to a grove of bamboo. The stalks stood close together, like a quiet crowd listening to the wind. Elder Sato placed his palm on one tall stalk. "Do you know why bamboo grows so strong?" "Because it is hard," Mira guessed. Elder Sato smiled. "No, because it is empty." Mira frowned. "Empty?" He tapped the bamboo gently. "Inside, there is space. That space is not weakness. It is what allows bamboo to bend without breaking. It is what allows it to carry water, to become a flute, to sing." Then he turned to Mira. "Your mind is not empty. It is crowded. You are trying to build discipline on a noisy foundation." Mira felt her chest tighten. "So what should I do?" Elder Sato picked up a small bamboo cup from the ground, freshly cut, open at the top. "Each day," he said, "you will do two things, very small, very steady. First, you will empty your mind for a short time. Second, you will keep one promise to yourself, no matter how small." Mira looked uncertain. "That seems too simple." "Simple does not mean easy," Elder Sato replied. "The river is simple too, yet it shapes stone." He handed her the bamboo cup. "Come, we will begin now." They walked to the edge of the grove where a narrow stream flowed, clear and cold. Elder Sato crouched beside it. "Fill this cup with water." Mira did. "Now," he said, "hold it with both hands. Watch the surface." Mira watched. The water shimmered, reflecting sky and bamboo leaves. Elder Sato spoke softly. "Your mind is like this water. When you stir it, you cannot see clearly. When you stop stirring, clarity returns on its own." Mira nodded, though her thoughts still ran. Elder Sato placed a small pebble in her palm. "This pebble is one thought. Drop it into the cup." Mira dropped it. Ripples spread. She did. More ripples. Soon the surface was trembling. "This is how most people live," Elder Sato said. "One thought after another. One impulse after another. They wonder why they cannot focus, yet they never stop dropping pebbles." Mira swallowed. "How do I stop?" Elder Sato lifted a finger. "You do not stop the river by shouting at it. You stop stirring. You pause. You return again and again." He looked at her kindly. "For 1 minute each morning, you will sit and do nothing but breathe. When a thought comes, you will not chase it. You will let it pass like a leaf on water, and you will return to your breath." 1 minute. Mira almost laughed. 1 minute cannot change me." Elder Sato's eyes warmed. "A single bamboo shoot cannot become a grove in a day, but it becomes one if it grows every day." Then he said, "The second practice is a promise." He pointed to the half-carved flute in the workshop. "Today, you will carve for 5 minutes. Not when you feel inspired, not after you finish everything else. 5 minutes at the same time every day." Mira hesitated. 5 minutes feels so small." Elder Sato nodded. "Good, that is why it will work. A mind that cannot keep a small promise will not keep a large one. Discipline is not a shout, it is a quiet agreement kept daily." Mira looked at the bamboo grove again. The stalks did not argue with the wind, they simply stood, bent, returned, and kept growing. That day, Mira did what he asked. In the morning, she sat by her window, breathed, and watched her thoughts wander like birds. She did not fight them. She simply returned to her breath. Later, at the same hour, she carved the flute for 5 minutes. When 5 minutes ended, something surprising happened. She wanted to continue. But she stopped. Elder Sato had warned her, "Do not make your practice a mood, make it a rhythm." The next day, Mira was tired. Her mind said, "Skip today." She heard Elder Sato's voice in her memory. A trained mind is not a mind that never resists. It is a mind you do not obey when it resists. So she sat for 1 minute, breathed, returned. Then carved for 5 minutes, stopped. For a week, she did this. Her life did not suddenly become perfect. Her worries did not disappear. Her cravings still whispered. But something else began to grow, quiet and steady. Trust. She began to trust herself again, and that trust was stronger than motivation. After 2 weeks, Elder Sato returned to the workshop. He looked at the flute. The carving was cleaner, the shape more confident. He said, "Your hands have improved." Mira smiled faintly. "My hands, yes, but my mind still wanders." Elder Sato nodded. "Of course it does. A garden still grows weeds. Discipline is not the absence of weeds, it is the habit of tending." Then he reached into his bag and pulled out a bamboo flute, finished and polished. He held it out to her. "Play." Mira blinked. "I do not know how." Elder Sato placed the flute in her hands. "Put it to your lips. Blow softly." Mira did. A thin, shaky sound emerged. She tried again. The notes steadied. Elder Sato said, "Do you hear it? The flute only sings because it has been hollowed, shaped, smoothed." The bamboo did not become music by wishing. It became music by patient carving. Mira looked down at the flute. then at her own unfinished one. That night, a storm came. The town was small, and storms there could be fierce. Wind pushed against doors, rain struck rooftops like thrown stones. Mira woke to shouting outside. She ran to the window and saw neighbors gathering with lanterns. The stream behind the workshop had swollen into a rushing current. A small footbridge that connected to the far side of town was shaking under the force of water. And on that far side, an elderly woman stood alone, unable to cross back. The wind was too strong, the bridge was too unstable. People called out, but no one moved. Fear held them like ropes. Mira's heart pounded. Then she saw Elder Sato, calm as ever, stepping toward the bridge. Mira ran outside. "Elder, you cannot!" Elder Sato turned to her. "There are moments when a mind must be steady," he said. "This is one of them." Mira's hands trembled. "I am afraid!" Elder Sato nodded. "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is discipline in the presence of fear." He looked at her closely. "Mira, do you remember the first minute of breathing? Do you remember the first 5 minutes of carving?" "Yes," she whispered. "That was training, not for comfort, for moments like this." He tied a rope around his waist, handed the end to 2 strong villagers, and stepped onto the bridge. The wood creaked. Water roared below like an angry beast. The villagers held the rope, but their arms shook. Panic spread. Someone shouted, "He will fall!" Mira watched their fear infect them like fire. And in that instant, something inside her clicked into place. Mira took the rope too, wrapped it around her forearm, planted her feet in the mud, and breathed. One breath, then another. Her mind screamed, "Run! Hide! You cannot!" But Mira did not obey. She returned to her breath, like returning to the water's surface after ripples. Elder Sato moved slowly, step by step, as if he had all the time in the world. He reached the far side, took the elderly woman's hand, and guided her back. The bridge swayed, the current surged, the villagers stumbled. Mira tightened her grip, grounded her stance, and kept breathing. When they finally reached the safe side, the elderly woman collapsed into grateful tears. The crowd cheered, voices trembling with relief. Elder Sato looked at Mira, rain dripping from his brow, and gave her a small nod. "In the storm, you found your discipline," he said. Mira's chest rose and fell. "I was still afraid." Elder Sato smiled. "Yes, but your mind did not drive you like a frightened horse. You held the reins." The next morning, the storm passed. The stream returned to its gentle flow. Mira sat by her window and breathed for 1 minute. Her thoughts came, as always, but now she understood something deeply. A disciplined mind is not a mind that never feels temptation, never feels fear, never feels doubt. A disciplined mind is a mind you practice returning to your breath, returning to your promise, returning to what matters. Days became weeks, weeks became months. Mira's flute was finished. When she played it, the sound was soft, steady, and clear, like a calm voice in a noisy room. One day, she asked Elder Sato, "What is the secret of discipline, truly?" Elder Sato held up the bamboo cup. "The secret is this," he said, "empty space. Make space between impulse and action. Make space between thought and belief. Make space where you can choose." He looked at her gently. "Most suffering is not from life itself. It is from the mind that reacts without pause. Discipline is the pause. Discipline is the quiet strength to say, 'Not today,' to what harms you, and 'yes' today to what heals you." Now, my friend listening today, let us speak plainly about the moral of this story. The moral is this: discipline is not a personality trait you were born with, it is a daily practice you build. You do not build it with grand promises you cannot keep. You build it with small promises you keep even when you do not feel like it. You do not build it by fighting your thoughts. You build it by learning to return again and again to the calm center inside you. So if your mind has felt scattered, if you have felt disappointed in yourself, I want you to remember Mira's bamboo cup. Start with 1 minute of stillness. Start with 5 minutes of effort. Choose a time. Keep the promise. Let it be small enough to succeed and steady enough to shape you. Because the river does not carve stone with one strong wave. It carves stone with countless gentle returns. And you too can become strong in that quiet way. If you learned something today, or if Mira's journey brought you even a small sense of calm, I invite you to stay connected with us. This is Small Stories, Big Healing. Short tales to soothe your heart and guide your steps. If this story should reach more people who are struggling with discipline and a wandering mind, please don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need this reminder, and comment below. What does discipline mean to you? Your one comment may encourage someone else who feels scattered tonight. And if you'd like more stories that bring gentle comfort and insight, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next healing tale. Until then, remember this: do not wait to feel ready. Begin small, return often, and let your quiet discipline become your peace. Small Stories, Big Healing will be here with another tale whenever your heart needs a gentle reminder.